Welcome. How many of you have seen Gary before? Me too. Just so you know who your audience is. So without further ado, please help me welcome today to speak about medical mysticism and picking the fruit off the tree, Dr. Gary Berman.
Thank you. Can you hear me without this? Can you? Yeah. Would you mind if I didn't use this? Would that be okay? I like to walk around. I like to see people. Now, if for some reason you can't hear me, stop me, okay? Look, I want to thank you for coming today to my talk, The Tree of Life, Picking the Best Fruit. As she said, I'm Dr. Gary Berman, and my wife, Maggie, the pretty lady back there with the nice haircut. We have a holistic chiropractic center in Dallas that we call the Healing Zone. Now, by professional licensing degree, I'm a doctor of physics, I'm a doctor of chiropractic. I've studied many forms of natural healing over the last 30 years. Without doubt, though, my most important ability is the fact that I'm a mystic and I practiced, developed, and created a technique for the last 15 years that I call medical mysticism. I'm very proud of this technique. Now, because mysticism and medical mysticism are new terms, I want to take the time, and I've got 3 reasons for my talk. So number 1, I'm going to define to you what I mean by the words mysticism and medical mysticism. Number 2, I'm going to present to you a model that I've worked on for the last over a year, and I want to show you how possibly your life works. And no matter where you are in your life, no matter how good it is, I think when you understand the model, it can possibly get even better. And number 3, I want to show you a very simple technique that you can use the moment you leave here that will give you a chance to make much better choices on anything you decide to do. And I don't care what the situation is. Now, I want to start this talk with a little story that actually happened to me earlier this year. I like food. I like to eat good food. And I especially like peaches. So I couldn't wait. At the beginning of this year when peach season came in, I called Whole Foods and asked them, when are your peaches coming? They told me. So I was there that day. And sure enough, there are my peaches. They're waiting for me. All right, so I picked up a bunch of them, took them home, and I knew I was going to have a great experience that night. So I picked one of the peaches, bite into it, and guess what? It was terrible. Absolutely terrible. So I looked at this peach, and I couldn't understand why, because it was in the organic peach bin, what the problem was. So I went to the other peaches that I had, and this peach was the only one that didn't have the organic label on it. So I went back to Whole Foods the next day, and I checked, and my theory was right. There were 2 batches of peaches. There were 2 bins of peaches. One bin had organic, the other wasn't. Somehow this inferior fruit found its way into my hands. I wasn't thinking. Now, the purpose for this is simply this. I had this non-organic fruit. I had this organic fruit. We had 2 farmers raising this fruit, spending probably about the same amount of time growing trees, producing fruit of vastly different quality. Now think about this. All of us know people that are hardworking, determined, well-meaning people, and for some reason their life goes nowhere. And we still know other people that are hardworking, determined people, and their life is like gold. Everything they do, they strike oil wells, gold mines, you name it, it is that way. Now, for 30 years I've been trying to understand what is the difference between one group and another group about results, because I am a doctor and it's important for me that my patients heal. But it's more important for me and for you to have a productive life in this lifetime. So this model will address those issues and I think bring some clarity to some maybe confusing points. Okay? Now, let me talk to you about what I view as mysticism. Mysticism is a belief in a spirit. Okay? I believe that every person in this room was born to have a fantastic, stupendous, magnificent life. All of them were born to do that. I believe that all of you created a destiny with whatever you call God and created a plan before you were born. And God so loved us that God put that plan in charge of the Spirit, and the Spirit and plan was placed in our bodies at the time of conception. Now that's my personal belief system. And I believe the place and location where that plan is right here, so it's no question or confusion as to what I'm talking about. If you'll take one of your fingers, say the index finger of your right hand, put it in your navel. It's clean, go ahead. What I'm saying here, right? Make a fist with the other hand, okay? Put that under that finger. Where that fist is where I believe your spirit and your plan lies. Now, you might say to me, how in the world, maybe you can do that, Dr. Berman, but how in the world can I do that? Because you're talking about an invisible God, creating some mythical plan, putting it into a speculative part of my body. How in the world am I supposed to do that? Now, that's a fair question, don't you think? Well, would the plan really be there if you couldn't do it? Okay. I want to give you a little experiment right now to do, so that you can begin to feel what I feel as I'm working with patients. Okay, here's the experiment. I want all of you to put your feet down on the floor, please, just for a moment. Okay, put your hands by your side, and take your right hand, make a fist, and put it there under your navel. Okay? I want you to feel that sensation of the pressure of that hand right there. Now, I want you to imagine that you can think of a person, a place, or a thing. I don't care what it is that you truly love, that you must have, and when you're in the presence of that thing, you feel incredibly good. And just imagine that feeling, and imagine whatever that object is, and put it right there where that fist is under the navel. Sense that. Just sense that. Okay. Now, let's imagine where you're feeling that sensation and where your fist is 100% accurate. 100% accurate. Now let's suppose that we can go higher, and we go up to the spot between the eyebrows, right up here. When we feel anything up in this area, it's 0% correct. 0% correct here. This area where the fist is 100% correct. Now, let's go one step further. Think of some action that you need to do. Maybe you're thinking of cooking your meals tonight, or maybe going to the cleaners tomorrow, or maybe picking up your children on Monday, or maybe thinking about how you're going to change your life. Think of some action you're going to take, and sense that feeling of the action in your body. Now, sense it. Are you feeling it down here, where your fist is, under the navel? Or are you feeling it higher, up towards the eyebrows? Sense where your feeling is. Maybe about 10 seconds. Just want you to sense this feeling. You can do it. Just try sensing this. Very good. Very good. Very good. Now time? Okay, now, with a show of hands, who are the people that could feel that activity, that action down here where the fist was? With a show of hands, who would you feel it down here? Okay, sir, would you mind? You felt it down here. What feeling did you have when you felt it down here?
Warmth, slight pulsation, but also pulsing in the hand itself.
Thank you. Very good, excellent. I believe there was some people over here too. Anyone else feeling it?
I'm calm, still, and just looking.
Excellent. Very good. Now, who are the people that could feel that activity higher up? Somewhere between here and here, somewhere up in here. Who are the people? Please. What did you feel? And where did you feel it? Where did you feel it along here?
I felt it right around here.
Very good. And what did you feel?
It felt like it was growing. That makes sense.
Okay. Very good. I'm sorry, was there anyone else who felt it somewhere? I'm sorry. What did you feel?
I felt it across the shoulders.
Across the shoulders.
Feeling the strength.
Thank you. Okay. Now, let me explain what just happened here. Watch this carefully. This is most important. The people that were feeling the sensation of that activity down here, where perfection was, generally indicates that whatever this activity is in unison with their belief system. So whatever actions they're deciding to take, and whatever their beliefs are, they are unified, they are correct. So most likely, this action will turn out incredibly well. Now, for the people that were feeling the action higher, it generally indicates that for some reason, the action that you're thinking of doing could be in conflict with your belief systems. Be careful, because no matter how hard you try, no matter what you do, they may not turn out to be as good as you want them to be. Now, think about this. If what I'm saying is true, that there's a plan here, there's a spirit that communicates with you just like you felt when you started doing this just a few minutes ago. That's exactly what happens to me when I do my work with my patients. I don't have to meet my patients. All I need is their name. Their spirit will come to me and tell me everything I need to know. And I have a plan, a model, based on structural issues, biochemical issues, emotional issues, spiritual issues, and their spirit will tell me what's Number one priority, number two priority, number three, and I can feed it back to them and tell them because I'm constantly scanning them. I call the scanning right here in this spot. And the accuracy of this technique is incredibly high. It's better than 90%. It's astounding. And when you think that most of our best decisions are best 1 to 3 out of 10 times correct, that's the best we can expect if we use this up here, which gets us into trouble, versus this, which wants to free us. It's amazing what the difference is. I want to hold your questions for just a minute. Now, I want to take you to my model so you can get an idea of how you can apply this, okay? Because this is most important. It's the most important. This model came to me in Germany a little over a year ago. And I was able to put a lot more to it over this last year and a half or so. Okay, let's move this to the side here. Now, the model is very simple. We start here in the model, an interpretation of something happening to you. You wake up in the morning, you open your eyes. From that moment on, to the time you close your eyes, when you go to bed at night, you're interpreting what's happening to you. You're making decisions about taking children to school, putting on my clothes, where am I going to eat, what am I going to do, what job will I take. We're all making choices about this. So we start with making choices. We end up with results. And depending upon which choices we're going to make, that determines exactly what result you're going to get. In fact, when you go to the next level here, we begin looking at the two choices that you have access to. We only have two choices that we make for any situation. I don't care what we're dealing with. Two choices. We're all either working from fear and self-judgment, or we're working from love and desire. Every positive emotion is either a form of love or a more extreme form of love, desire. And every negative emotion, I don't care what it is a form of fear or self-judgment. Now this is the fertilizer that we're talking about the tree of life. Now, you don't even have to waste time. Why waste time? If you start any situation from this point, you're wasting your time about going through all these other steps because you're just going to get negative results each and every time. You're wasting your time. Now think about that. I don't care how hard you work, I don't care what you do, you're wasting your time. However, if you start with the right idea, love and desire, well, look what happens. The next level above love and desire and fear and self-judgment is what I call biology. This is the root system of your tree. So the fertilizer here goes into the root system of your biology. Now think about this. What do you think happens to you, biologically speaking, when you're in fear and self-judgment? What do you think happens to you, biologically speaking? Are you getting stronger or weaker? Weaker, right. We're not digesting our food very well. We're not eliminating our food very well. Every body system, heart, cardiovascular, lungs, respiratory, is getting weaker. Now, I talked about the biological systems, but it's not just confined to the biological systems. Everything you're doing, the people around you, that's part of your biological system. Do you think they like to be around someone who's in fear and self-judgment? And what about your ability to make money? That's part of your biological system. What do you think happens there too? When you're in fear and self-judgment, what do you think happens to your money? Goes down to 2. Goes down to 2, right? One person did this, you know what that means, right? That's what happens. Conversely, someone's working in love and desire. Biology getting stronger or weaker? Stronger. Exactly. People want to be around you. Your partner may even like you, right? Money's flowing to you. It's amazing what can happen. Absolutely amazing. Okay. Now, look at this. This is the roots. These two layers now form the trunk of the tree. The emotions in the field area. Think about this. If you're in fear and self-judgment, do you really think you're going to have positive emotions? Do you think you will? No. No, it's impossible. It is impossible. You can't do it. Okay? Because the fear and self-judgment is giving rise to a biological system that's weakened. A weakened biological system cannot give rise to powerful positive emotions. It's impossible. Absolutely impossible. And yet we still try to do it. Many of us do. Well, think of what happens. When we go to love and desire, we create the right root system. With our biology being strong, our emotions naturally are strong. We don't have to do anything for that. They are naturally strong. Do you realize that? That your physical, biological state determines your emotional state. It's not the other way around. When I realized that, it changed my whole life as a doctor. Because if you try to take medication, or if you try to read all these books, go to gurus, do all these different things up in this area, and don't do this work and don't do this work, maybe it will work for a short period of time. You will not sustain it. There is a method to the madness, and a method I've never seen, and working with well over 2,000 patients cannot be violated. All right, let's go a little further. Now we're coming into fields. This is from I love the physics, okay? I call it fields. Now, fields. When you take a magnet that's powerful enough, and you take a bar of steel, and you release that bar of steel, what happens to that steel? It goes towards the magnet, right? There's an empty space between that magnet and the bar of steel, and that's called the fields. Fields cause something to happen. Now think about this. All right? Suppose you have some friends that are in fear and self-judgment. We're already determined here that it's not going to be nice to be around them. Has anyone ever heard the terms emotional vampires, energy vampires? Have you heard of that? Okay. People will produce fields that will suck the life out of other people and other things because they're so negative. These fields are your servants. These fields will go out of your body and they come into your body and they're your servants. So if you don't like what's happening to you, I guarantee you it's because you're on this side of the equation and you're sending out the wrong fields to do the work for you because those fields don't judge. Those fields are under your control. And conversely, if you like what's happening to you, those fields are under your control too. And they're bringing to you every positive thing you can ever imagine. They will bring to you events, people, places from all over the world just by sending them out. This is advanced physics. This is advanced physics. This is the way physics was meant to be, to help you. Have them understand their life. Is this making sense? Yeah. Now think about this even further. Now we come up to God. All of our hard work, no matter which way we decide to go, we're going to use hard work, no matter whether we start here or there, it's going to be hard work. Eventually we do get to God. And guess what? God loves us enough to give us what we want. If we want to be hurt, if we want to be punished, if we want brutalization, guess what? God loves us enough to do that. Because God doesn't judge. God will give us what we want. If we want love and desire, if we want the positive things in our life, guess what? God doesn't judge. God will give you what you want. Now you're vibrating in an energetic space where the moment you think about something, it happens. It comes to you. The masters of the Far East have talked about this for thousands of years. And this is the idea about actually thinking of being in another part of the world and physically making that switch so your physical body moves to the other side of the world and back. You are not limited by space and time, only by belief systems. And the belief systems start here. Now, the neat thing about this, results, positive or negative, God's an equal opportunity result giver. Doesn't matter. Your choice. All right? So, if you start with negative results, they're going to come back. Now, here's the good news. Here's the good news. Even though you may have had 10,000 cases of negative results, maybe this next time around, the 10,000th and first case, if you understand this model and start working from here, guess what? You got a chance. You got a chance at hitting the jackpot. What I'm trying to say is, I don't care what your past has been. I don't even care what your present is like. I'm saying if you understand this model and begin to utilize it, if your life hasn't been going well, you can change it. Now, suppose it has been going incredibly well, and you've made 10,000 great choices. So you've made 10,000 great choices. Possibly, on the 10,000th first choice, if you're not careful, you might make a judgment over here. And then what happens? Boom. Now we start feeling. What I'm trying to say is this. I don't care how many ashrams you've gone to. I don't care how many books you've read. I don't care how many people you've talked to. All of us have some sensitivities in our life that makes us susceptible to fear and self-judgment. All of us. On some circumstances, some situations, every one of us can go into that mode. Every one of us. I have to watch that constantly for me. constantly. Okay? I have to watch my patients too to make sure that they stay in the proper mode. Now, think about this. Fear and self-judgment. Where does that come from? Where does fear and self-judgment come from? Where? Where do you think it starts? Where? Belief systems. But where do you think in our life, where do you think it starts?
Childhood.
Right? Childhood program. Yeah, we're not victims. I'm not making us out to be victims. I'm not making our parents out to be bad. I'm simply saying our family learned fear and self-judgment from their family, who learned it from their family, who learned it from their family. Right? Okay, so we learned it there. Then we learned it from medical institutions. We learned it from academic institutions. We learned it from religious institutions. Look, I have more than just two fears. We're born with two fears, just two fears. Do you know what they are?
Falling.
Pardon me?
Falling.
Falling, good. One more. Loud noise. Fear of falling and loud noise. That's the only two fears that we were born with. And I have more than that. I've got more than that. So I have to work constantly at changing old habits. That's what this is. Fear and self-judgment and love and desire is a habit. You don't have to change your life. You don't have to change your life. This plan makes you perfect if you can get out of fear and self-judgment, which comes from here, ego, comes from the brain, get out of here and start learning how to use this. Your life is perfect. The problem is we've all learned this, and we have to unlearn it. So the reasons for taking supplements, diet, exercise, nutrition, all these other things, is to rebuild the damage that was done by all of this incorrect habit that we've all developed. That's the reason for all of this. So when people come to me, what I do is, I only see them here, down here. I only see people down here. I don't talk to this, this is a waste of time. This is an absolute waste of time. Look, I believe in education, I believe in being intelligent, I believe in doing all these things. However, whatever you're learning, make sure what you're learning is truly important to you and test it down here, like you tested those activities just a few minutes ago. Education is important, but make sure you understand what part of education is important for you. Do you understand what I mean? Not every fact is important for you. Test it down here. So when people come to me, before I meet them, I scan their spirit, I talk to their spirit, and they'll tell me what supplements they need, what diets they need, what exercises they need, what books do they need to read, what do they need to do. They'll tell me this. Hey, and I'm no different than you. I don't have any more or less abilities than you. It's just that I've worked hard for 15 years believing this principle because I wanted my life to improve. It was for me first. When I realized how to help me, then I could help you. Okay? No different than you. I'm just asking you, please think about this. It changed my life. It's changed the lives of a lot of my patients. Okay. Give it an idea. Just give it some time to think. Think about this idea that this has a perfect plan. Let me summarize it. A person walked up to me about 2 weeks ago and he said, Dr. Berman, what do you like about your life? It's an easy question for me. What I like about my life is that I can make good choices each and every time. That I was born, just like you, to be a powerful, productive, healthy human being. And I know what I need to do each and every time. I don't have to guess anything. I don't have to pray for it. I don't have to do anything. It comes to me because it was a free gift from God, so that we can always choose the right thing. When I thought about that years ago, it made me very humble. I hope it makes you humble too. The plan is there for you, just like it's for me. All you have to do is learn how to do it. It's like riding a bicycle, tying your shoes. Now, I can't thank you enough for your time. For any questions, I can take them within a few minutes. Maggie will pass out some information. I'll ask you to do one thing, the information. If you don't want it, it's okay. Don't take it. If you do want it, give it to someone who can be helped by it. Or come and talk to me about it. Please don't throw it away. I believe it's too valuable for you to throw it away. So I just want to thank you again. You're a great audience. If you have any questions, do we have enough time for any questions? 5 minutes, okay. Any questions at all?
What's your relationship with this technique and, say, kinesiology?
Okay. There's nothing wrong with kinesiology. I cut my teeth on kinesiology about 25 years ago. The problem with kinesiology, though, is this. The moment you start pushing on any organ of the body or any structure of the body, it's going through the brain. Now, if the person believes in kinesiology and the person is willing to apply and test them, you can get excellent results with kinesiology. I think you know that. When I do this technique about talking to the spirit, I don't need to do that. This never gets in the way. So I never have to worry about people denying something or saying something that they don't believe. This will always tell me the truth. I found to be just a faster way of doing it. Good question. Good question. Any other questions?
How did you start thinking about the fire? Did you start
Okay, I'm going to your question. The love and desire. Now, there are probably thousands of ways. You can use hypnosis, you can read different books, you can do things, but I get right to the point on this. It's a decision. It's an absolute decision. It's like, when people say, well, I want to lose 5 pounds, right? You have to decide you're going to want to lose 5 pounds. And then you know, you'll do whatever it takes to lose 5 pounds. It's the same thing. What I did was this. I knew in my life what worked and what didn't work. And then I would go into these situations where I knew where I failed before. And I had to be brutally frank with myself, not to hurt myself, but just to be honest with myself. What I was doing over here wasn't working. So I would start asking myself, okay, if I want good results in that circumstance, let me try changing my habit. Maybe I'd get up a little earlier. Maybe I would try driving a different way to work. I would start breaking my habits easily. And I would get more and more into my habits. Maybe I would stop eating certain foods. Maybe I would start exercising more. Good habits. And then I would start thinking differently. Good habits. Then eventually I was ready to tackle that situation and get the right results. First starts with decision. First starts with decision. Please.
Is the model on your website?
I don't have a website. Not yet.
Copies of it?
I don't give that out. I don't give that out. Right now I'm writing a book. Reverend John Webster and myself. Reverend John Webster from the Union Church, he is my spiritual leader. He is a magnificent man, and he works on this part of it. I'm working on this part. We're putting together a book. We'll have it out next year. Okay? Next year, it'll be out. Please.
You could make a diagnosis if you connect to the person that they feel their vibration, their feeling down here.
Exactly.
And then you ask questions and then you get that vibration of feeling with yes or no kind of diagnosis.
Thank you. Let me see if I can explain it this way. I think we're saying the same thing. You know, I have nothing to do with this company, so I want this to be known, okay? For me, this is water, of course, H2O, but it has a vibrational state. And this vibrational state happens to match my vibrational energy state in my spirit. So every time I drink this water, I'm making my body stronger. Now, if I talk about this vibrational state, it's just like your thumb. It's specific to each and every person. So if I use words like cancer, well, if I use words like cancer and it's down here, I better darn well check that person for their belief systems and maybe even for the illness. See what I'm saying? Because everything has a vibrational state. If I want to give them a supplement, I can feel its energy, and I can feel their energy, and I know when to match. It's called resonance. A powerful surge of energy will go through my body, and I know without any question it's a perfect remedy for that. Okay? It's a vibrational energy matching. Advanced physics. That's how we do it. Did I answer your question? Thank you. So, and just so you know, this water is not good for him, but it is good for her. Okay? Right? This water is good for her, this water is not good for him. It doesn't match. It matches her energy, it doesn't match his energy.
So we look at that message by the field.
By the field.
By the field.
By the field. Because, oh yeah, they were talking. They were telling me this. You can get any answer to any question just by asking the question.
And the field comes from the center.
The field comes from our spinal system, which we have more time. Our spinal system is an antenna system. If you took out our spine, it's an antenna system, okay? That antenna system is sending out information. All I have to do is ask, and it will show me. Okay, I've got to go. It's the end. I can't thank you enough. Thank you.